Stopping John Collins in round number one, and Ferdy Sims looked very sharp right from the start, but Collins didn't look right, and we made a comment regarding that left eye, which did not look good.
There was a cut under that left eye that was covered by makeup. The ring doctor wiped off the makeup, said that's a cut, but it's not bad enough. We'll go ahead and let you fight. But obviously that was going to be a factor in this fight had it gone longer.
Covered by makeup?
That's right. Max factor number 3, I think.
The Hampton Coliseum in Hampton, Virginia. 22-year-old Pernell Whitaker is preparing for only his 8th professional fight. But in recent years, it has not been uncommon for fighters of such limited experience to be regarded as budding championship contenders, particularly if they have won Olympic gold medals, as Whitaker did in Los Angeles in the 132-pound weight class in 1984. Today's scheduled 10-round battle with 24-year-old John Montes of Los Angeles looms as Pernell Whitaker's toughest bout so far. An important step toward the lightweight title fight many observers expect him to earn within the next year. Hello, I'm Jim Lampley. With us, you have followed the professional progress so far of the American Olympic boxers who were so impressive in Los Angeles, but none of them, as a professional, has been any more impressive than the lightweight, undefeated Pernell Whitaker. From the first moment he stepped into the ring as a pro, November 15, 1984 in Madison Square Garden against Baron Comeau, Whitaker of Norfolk, Virginia, has showed ample style from his southpaw punching stance. Power, particularly with the left hand, and extraordinary defensive skill for a fighter of such limited experience. This, a second-round knockout and easy victory later, summer of last year, here in his home area, the Norfolk, Virginia area. There was another impressive second-round knockout over John Senegal. That is the way it has gone for Pernell Whitaker. Today, we are in Hampton, Virginia, just across the Chesapeake Bay from Whitaker's hometown of Norfolk, all a part of the Tidewater, Virginia area. The crowd here in the Hampton Coliseum will be squarely behind the young lightweight as he continues his professional boxing growth. Look inside the Hampton Coliseum at the ring in which Pernell Whitaker faces what will be, to this point in his career, his toughest professional fight. It is a boxing career which began at age 8 when a man named Clyde Taylor took Pernell, put gloves on him, and put him into the ring to continue an impromptu street fight which had begun in the housing project here in Norfolk, Virginia, nearby, where Pernell Whitaker, later called by his friends Sweet Pea or Pete, grew up. And it's a career which blossomed into an amateur campaign which saw him go into the ring more than 200 times, win 2 world championships, a Pan American Games championship, and ultimately an Olympic gold medal. Now, as a professional fighter, Whitaker has found fame and fortune, as this profile, present tense, of a fighter in development will show us. Among 9 American Olympic boxing gold medalists, Pernell Whitaker was the only one to score a knockout in his final bout. The gold medal capped a brilliant amateur career in which Whitaker also won 2 world championships. And he began his professional career as the #1 sports hero in his hometown of Norfolk and the surrounding Tidewater area.
Everybody in Norfolk is talking about him. He's an excellent fighter, and we all can't wait to see him.
Gracious, means a lot to Norfolk because we haven't had anything like that here before, and with the city trying to grow and all, and trying to get a name for itself, he's just a super fantastic person as far as sports is concerned.
P. Whitaker, he's a really exciting fighter. He brings a lot of publicity to Norfolk, and I think it'll really be good for the community.
He has rewarded his fans with 7 straight triumphs, and when a broken foot kept him from fighting last December 21, Pernell scored a knockout of a different sort as he quickly rescheduled his planned wedding into his natural habitat.
When Pete approached me and told me that they wanted us to get married in the boxing ring, I asked him, was he crazy? I wanted to get married in the church.
The wedding was nice, you know. I'd rather been fighting that day, December 21st. I'd rather been boxing, but unfortunately, I broke my foot, broke a bone in my foot, and then we turned it into another fight, and that was the marriage. And the outcome of that was a draw. Both of us raised our arms, so, you know, there was no loser.
The broken foot also meant more time at home, more time with 4-year-old stepson Dominique and 17-month-old Pernell Whitaker Jr. There is maturity to be gained both inside and outside the ring, and understanding the children is a part of that process.
Now that I have kids, you know, they have to eat well and dress well, so I have to make sure that that happens. Then I have a wife that's money hungry too, so you know, I have to take care of her. Her needs and everything. You know.
Whitaker's growth as a human being can also be seen in another walk of life. Surely not many of the students at Norfolk State University would be as comfortable strolling the campus with the school's president. But far-flung travel and an Olympic gold medal have already made this student a citizen of the world. In the classroom, Pernell Whitaker now retrieves the verbal skills and book knowledge he bypassed in a childhood spent fighting in the shadows of Norfolk's housing projects.
Pete initiated this. Pete had a desire to go to college and to improve himself. He enrolled in Norfolk State on his own. Then he had to sort of drop out because he was away training for the Olympics. After being very successful in the Olympics, Pete recognized that an educational background went along with the territory.
I don't have to go to school, you know, I could just be lazy and sleep all day because I don't, you know, this is my job is boxing, and, you know, right now I don't box, you know, every day, and I don't have to, when I'm home, I don't have to get up in the morning. So, you know, it's interesting to get up and have something to do, like go to school, and, you know, it's something I wanted to do anyway because I wanted to further my education.
And while his mind grows at school, the fighter knows his fortune is growing too, owning and acquiring real estate, an experience he might not have foreseen.
I have my own corporation. I have, you know, Sweet Pea Enterprises. You know.
Sounds great.
Yeah, I'm starting at a young age, you know, and I have a apartment I'm renting out, you know, so I'm getting into the business right now, you know, kind of small. I have a townhouse that I'm renting out, and plus I'm buying another house after this fight. And I have a lot of home equity.
It's a new life for Pernell Whitaker, all tied to his growing equity in boxing's lightweight division. Today, he continues trying to build toward the championship his managers believe he will soon win. And now we are live in the arena as John Montes has already entered the ring, and here comes Pernell Whitaker. The record you see there, 7 wins, 0 losses, 6 of the wins by knockout. Whitaker steps up into the ring, and you hear the roar from the crowd. I mentioned that he is from the town of Norfolk, which is directly across the James River from here in Hampton. Not across the Chesapeake Bay, as I said earlier, but across the James River. There's a good look at Whitaker as he continues to warm up. John Montes, the opponent, 29 wins, 3 losses, 22 knockouts. The 3 losses, all to men who held world titles at one time or another. We'll be back right after. We are back live now and moments away from the start of this fight. Joining me now is our ABC Sports boxing expert, Alex Wallow. And Alex, everyone agrees that it has been an auspicious beginning as a professional for Pernell Whitaker. What are the qualities that make him special in the ring?
Well, I think the thing, Jim, that has amazed boxing people about Pernell is the speed with which he's made the transition from the amateurs to the professionals. He has shown right away from that very first fight in Madison Square Garden the ability to sit down and punch with power as opposed to flicking his punches as he did in the amateurs. He's shown the ability to slip punches rather than backing away from the aggression by his opponent. He's shown the ability to move from his natural counter-punching style into an attacking fighter, and he's done all this with a poise that really is amazing for a fighter so early in his professional career. Boxing people are already looking to a showdown between him and the current star of the lightweight division, Hector Camacho, the WBC champion. But before Whitaker is ready for a title fight with Camacho, he has to prove himself against a seasoned 10-round veteran like John Montes, who really represents a big step up in terms of ability and experience. Yes, Whitaker has shown all the qualities that we talked about, but he's done it against 6-round prelim fighters. Today he'll have to do it against a seasoned 10-round veteran, an all-round professional fighter like John Montes. And I think this fight will go a long way towards determining what Whitaker's future will be.
Which brings up a point. Montes has been close to the title before. This is an opportunity for him to reestablish himself somewhat.
Yes, he has. He's been ranked as high as number 4 in the world, and he never got the title shot he thought he deserved. A win here today would put him in a position for a title shot. His manager, Benny Georgino, who's managed 3 world champions, thinks the Whitaker people are crazy to take as tough a fighter as John Montes this early in Whitaker's career.
What do you think both fighters have to do in order to turn the bout their way?
Well, Whitaker just has to do what he's done already in his 7 pro fights. Effective combination punching, speed of hand and foot, in and out, put punches together, right hooks, right jabs, and that straight left hand that we saw in the opening. For John Montes, he's a solid as we said, all-round professional. Can work to the body, can work to the head, puts pressure on you. Benny Giorgino thinks he can force Whitaker out of his natural style, and we'll see how well Pernell Whitaker can adapt today.
It is, in the words of Whitaker's manager, Lou Duba, a crossroads fight. And now you look at the tail of the tape, which reveals one fascinating fact with regard to the two fighters. You will see that Montes has a 4-inch height advantage, and yet despite that advantage, the reach of the two fighters is the same. So Montes is a man with range and height, but it does not translate into the expected reach advantage over the very quick Pernell Whitaker. And now in the middle of the ring, they get their instructions from referee Al Rothenberg, who is from nearby Virginia Beach. Here in Virginia, 3 judges will score the bout. The referee does not score. 8-ounce gloves, a 19 feet by 9-inch ring, 19 feet 9 by 19 feet 9. The 3 knockdown rule is in effect. The bell cannot save a fighter except at the end of the last round. There is a mandatory 8 count on all knockdowns.
Test yourselves at all times.
Okay, hold it. Yeah, hold it up a minute.
Familiar figure of Lou Duba there as he watches the gloves being laced on to John Montes here at the last moment. Whitaker's gloves were laced on in his dressing room before he came to the ring. And now Montes is ready to go, and the two fighters prepare for round 1 of a scheduled 10 rounds. The first scheduled 10-round bout of Whitaker's professional career. And as the bell rings, Whitaker is already in the middle of the ring.
Both fighters are coming off long layoffs, Jim. Whitaker's been out 4 months with the broken ankle we talked about earlier. John Montes out 8 months, and I think they'll both be a little bit tight here in the opening round.
Montes has been in with some very tough fighters. 10 full rounds last July with Cornelius Boza Edwards.
That was his last fight, and that was against a left-hander, so he has been in with some experienced left-handers. Another notable one, of course, Hector Camacho, who stopped John in the first round with an uppercut. He has been vulnerable to uppercuts throughout his career. He was knocked down by Boza Edwards by one, and that might be a punch to look for.
Whitaker has shown an ability to deliver the uppercut. There you see the left hook. Whitaker, the southpaw, against Montes, who is a reformed southpaw, has become a right-handed fighter. During his amateur career, he fought from a southpaw stance. Whitaker again scoring with the left.
Montes looks very, very tight here. The veteran is fighting like the rookie.
And the body with the left. Whitaker scoring consistently now to the middle portion of round number 1.
Hold it. I got you. Got you swinging.
Montes has been throwing the jab, but not getting it within range. Punches by Montes. He doesn't appear willing at this point to step forward and extend those blows. Whitaker again with the left.
Watch your head. Hold it. I got you. Break it. Watch your head. Watch your head.
I'm really surprised that Montes letting Whitaker take the play away from him like this. He's really retreated and hasn't gotten off first at all.
Thus far, it has been an easy round for Pernell Whitaker, who has dominated the action from the very beginning. 23 seconds to go as you see the clock in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. Again, the left hook. Montes has shown no defense for it yet. An easy round for Pernell Whitaker in the biggest test of his career. Round 1 comes to a close. Back in the Hampton Coliseum, beginning of round 2 between Pernell Whitaker in the gold trunks, John Montes in the blue. Undefeated Olympic gold medalist Whitaker clearly dominated round 1. Montes already significantly more aggressive as round 2 begins.
Montes, who normally takes the lead, is sitting here waiting for Pernell Whitaker to get off the punches first and looking to counterpunch. He's consistently getting beat to the punch.
And already Montes's features have begun to redden under the consistent tattoo of left-hand punches from Pernell Whitaker. Most of Montes's shots so far have been blocked by Whitaker's glove. The right got through.
With that jab, baby, stop it, stop it!
See, there's almost no lateral movement in John Montes. He stays right in front of his man. In fact, unusually for a right-handed fighter, he sometimes circles to his right, and that's right into Pernell Whitaker's power with the left.
Could that be a leftover habit from his days as a southpaw?
I just think it's the fact that that's his style. He's just a stationary fighter who tries to get leverage with his punches and doesn't move around a lot. Back near the ropes. It just isn't an intelligent place for him to be. He'll get picked apart.
Body. That's it.
Whitaker slipped. And referee Al Rothenberg sends it back in.
Watch your head, watch your head. Both of you. Break, please. 2 steps back, that's it.
Good right to the face. So we come near the close of the second round, and Pernell Whitaker continues to dominate John Montes. Round 3 begins in Hampton, Virginia. Pernell Whitaker against John Montes, and now Montes attempts to pick up the pace early in round 3 after having appeared to lose both of the first 2 rounds to Whitaker.
Montes can be a very effective fighter on the inside. You alluded earlier, Jim, to his short arms. He can let those short arms go on the inside, but he hasn't been willing to thus far with
Whitaker continues to get the left hook through. Between rounds, Whitaker's trainer George Benton told him to go ahead and step inside, saying John Montes appeared to want no part of him inside. He'd have nothing to worry about in there.
Pernell uses the left-hand lead like he just did. He has a bad habit of dropping that right hand, and he could be vulnerable to a Montes hook.
But so far, he has been beating Montes to the punch at every turn.
Whoa, watch it, hold it. Watch his head now, come on, watch your head. Right,
you hear referee Al Rothenberg telling Montes to watch the head. The 2 fighters resume action. Punishing blow to the body by Whitaker.
Keep him up.
This is a much more patient Pernell Whitaker at this stage of the fight than we've seen in his first 7 fights, Jim. I think he's pacing himself. This is his first 10-rounder. He's not exploding as much as is normal to him. Saw him shake his head there. He just missed with the left.
The nickname Sweet Pea may may be a bit misleading. Whitaker does appear, Alex, to have the disposition of a fighter.
It really does. It's not a very nice thing to say that somebody is nasty, but Pernell, in the ring, in his career, exhibits a lot of the qualities that another great lightweight, or a great lightweight named Roberto Duran had. He is a tough, mentally tough young fighter.
Come on, keep your head on. Keep your head on.
And so far, he continues to carry the action to John Montes through 3 rounds in Hampton, Virginia.
Hold it.
We return to Hampton, Virginia, round 4. Pernell Whitaker versus John Montes. Lightweight scheduled for 10 rounds. I'm Tim Lampley with Alex Wallow. Whitaker, in case you have just joined us, appeared, at least to my eyes, to have won the first 3 rounds in the fight.
All right, let go. That's it.
Through the first 3 rounds, the veteran continues to appear the tighter of the 2 fighters. Whitaker more relaxed. You see his concentration, which I think is really an important part of his ability.
Pernell Whitaker, already thought of as a lightweight contender, only 8 bouts into his professional career. There are 3 lightweight titles in existence. One of them held by Hector Macho Camacho. That is the WBC championship. The WBA championship held by Livingstone Bramble. The IBF championship held by Jerry Paul.
Jimmy Paul out of Detroit. The thing that John Montes, I think, has to do here is he's finding it tough to hit Pernell Whitaker in the head. I think he should go to the body more, try to bring Pernell's hands down a little bit, try to weaken him a little bit, and try to test his ability to last the 10-round distance. The problem is he hasn't been willing to get in close enough to do any punishment to the body.
We're midway through round 4, and we alert our local stations along the line that we'll be taking a station break right at the end of this round.
Those people who followed Sweet Pea Whitaker's amateur career can see already, I mean, throughout the first 3 rounds of this fight, how changed he is. He used to be a retreating counterpuncher. He has done almost all of the advancing in this fight.
Whitaker cutting off the ring, moves Montes into the corner again, and goes to work. The action beginning to level out a bit here in round 4. Montes has weathered the first 3 rounds, all of which belong to Whitaker. Now it's a little more of a fight. We'll be back with more from Hampton, Virginia after this word from your local station. Back in Hampton, Virginia, beginning of round 5. Whitaker in the gold trunks, Montes in the blue.
Off his feet.
There is a look at heavyweight boxer Tyrell Biggs, Olympic super heavyweight gold medalist. Like Whitaker, he is unbeaten as a professional. You'll see him here on ABC's Budweiser Professional Boxing in 2 weeks when he meets veteran Jeff Sims
Hold it.
in Reno, Nevada.
I got you both. Let's go. Break clean. All right, let's go.
Actually, like all the members of the 1984 Olympic team, he is unbeaten.
Get him up.
And that Biggs fight should be the 100th professional fight of that 1984 Olympic team.
Thus far, 98-0. Could become 99 here today.
There's 1 draw. Steve McCrory had a draw on the undercard of his brother Milton's WBC welterweight title fight.
So make it 97-0-1. Between rounds, Lou Duva and George Benton in Pernell Whitaker's corner were telling him not to worry about the knockout. And he himself said, if I have to go the distance, I just go. I'm boxing now. Boxing pretty well. before the fight, you briefly met Whitaker's bride of 3.5 months, Robanda, and there she is as she sits at ringside watching her husband do his work. The two of them married in a boxing ring on December 21.
Whitaker's management thinks that marriage has really settled him down, matured him, and made him more appreciative of how important his career is. If he has one fault, and it's a nice fault to have, he's almost too good. He dominates his sparring partners in training, and a lot of times he clowns and showboats a little bit. They really want him to get serious.
The warning was extended to John Montes, apparently for backhand punching, slapping at the back of the glove. Montes is considerably more alive now than in the first couple of rounds. You look at Lou Duva looking on. Whitaker scores again with the left.
Come on! Huh?
15?
Montes might be more alive, but he's still not fighting to win. He has to put pressure on Whitaker. He's staying on the outside, and he really has to get inside, rough up Pernell Whitaker in order to win this fight.
Hold it! Any damn buzzer?
We are back and preparing to begin round 6, and now referee Al Rothenberg, who says that he didn't hear a buzzer, allows the two fighters to commence activity. John Montes in the blue trunks, Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker in the gold. The 8th bout of Whitaker's professional career against a tough, experienced fighter, Montes 29-3 coming in.
Left hook that John Montes just missed. He threw with more conviction than any punch he has thrown thus far in the fight. He just has to get inside more. He's out of range. He remains out of range. He has to move in order to be able to have any chance of hitting with him.
Throughout the first 5 rounds, Alex Wallow, you have said that the veteran was fighting like the rookie, and the rookie was fighting like the veteran. Do you see any reason to believe that Whitaker is in danger of losing control of this fight?
No, I don't see any danger of that. The only thing that could happen is he could be tested over the 10-round distance and come up a little short. But right now, he seems reasonably relaxed. I do think both fighters are tight, and I think they're both showing the effect of the layoffs we referred to at the top of the show. Whitaker has not been as impressive as he has been in his first 7 fights in this fight. He has not put punches together as well. He has not punched with the power he showed us earlier. He's been waiting a little bit too long.
3 judges scoring the fight at ringside. The referee does not score in Virginia. One nearby unofficial card, which I can spot from here, has Whitaker winning each of the first 5 rounds.
Benny Giorgino, Montes' manager, was under no illusions about fighting here in Hampton. He knew his man had to win very, very decisively in order to get a decision, in his opinion. He's not doing that thus far.
Whitaker has scored within the past 10 seconds with a solid left and a right. Montes is coming forward more now.
Montes feigning with the left and coming across to the right, but Whitaker blocked it.
Picked it off cleanly with the glove. Less than 30 seconds to go in round 6. More and more it appears that Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker may get his first 10-round experience today.
Close the glove and stop hitting with the back. Let's go.
But through round 6, Whitaker appears to remain in control this bout with John Montes. Round 7 begins in Hampton, Virginia, and John Montes steps up and lands a right to the body of Pernell Whitaker. Almost a year ago, Whitaker went 6 rounds en route to a unanimous decision over Nicky Parker in Corpus Christi, Texas. That was, before now, the longest bout of his brief professional career. Now, for the first time, he steps into round 7.
manager, Pernell Whitaker. We've seen the second half of this fight. Giving ground more, backing up, looking to counterpunch. Letting Montes come in. Montes not taking advantage of it. I think it's more natural for Montes to come in. He's still not letting his hands go. Lou Duva complaining about the low blow by Montes, justifiably so.
Al Rothenberg told Montes, keep him up. There has been a change. Whitaker is definitely the fighter on the retreat at this point. Montes now moving forward in a way completely the opposite of the way he fought the first 3 rounds of the fight. Solid left, up in close by Whitaker. Montes is collected.
Montes on the ropes like that, Pernell is very much aware that Montes is looking for counter-punching openings. He doesn't come in out of control. He's not coming in wild. He throws punches, but he also stays in a defensive posture as much as possible.
Jumping forward with the right hand. I'm not sure that's exactly what Lou Duva and George Benton want to see from Pernell. The punch did land.
I think at this point in the fight, Pernell has put aside the idea of stopping John Montes. I think he's looking to go the distance. If the knockout comes, that'll be great. But he is right now fighting a defensive fight, scoring occasionally with counter punches, but not pressing the attack at all.
We come toward the end of round 7. The bout has settled into a fairly even competitive flow for the moment. We are back in round 8 of Pernell Whitaker versus John Montes, lightweight scheduled for 10 at the Hampton Coliseum in Hampton, Virginia, just across the James River from Whitaker's hometown of Norfolk, Virginia.
Between rounds, his co-trainer George Benton told Pernell Whitaker he wants him to be a little bit more businesslike in there. A little bit too much showboating in that last round, and Pernell agreed. He said, yeah, a little too much. I've always felt that Pernell Whitaker robbed himself of the award at the 1984 Olympics for outstanding boxer that was won by Paul Gonzalez. Pernell did showboat in almost every one of those bouts. That is not something designed to please amateur officials, and I feel like that was the thing that really cost him that honor.
There are some things you can get away with as a professional which are frowned upon in the amateur ranks. Whitaker is a little bit freer as a pro, and it has not yet hurt him in his 7 previous bouts. Good body shot. Thus far in the bout, Alex Wallow, I personally see Whitaker having won 6 of the 7 previous rounds, call one of them even, or perhaps give it to John Montes. You agree?
I've got a shutout right now for Whitaker. I just think he's landed, as you do, obviously, the better punches and the more numerous punches. But it hasn't been easy for him. Even though Montes, I don't feel, is near his peak, Pernell has not had it all his own way. And in the latter half of the fight, he showed Montes a lot more respect.
Indeed, Whitaker appears at this point content to go the distance if that is to be the case.
Best combination of the fight right there by Whitaker. 2 right jabs and the left. Montes continues to be the aggressor, but there's no effective aggression. He's just not landing punches. He just can't find the range.
Hold it.
Slip.
Got it. Yeah, give it to me. Hold it.
Oftentimes, when a right-handed fighter faces a left-hander, the two will get their feet tangled up, and that appeared to be what happened there. Pernell Whitaker still cruising toward what looks like a likely victory. We are back for round 9 in the 8th bout of Olympic gold medalist Pernell Whitaker's brief professional career. Longest previous boxing experience, 6 rounds almost a year ago against Nicky Parker. Now he goes into the 9th against a very tough professional fighter, John Montes, a man whose only 3 previous losses have been to men who have held world titles at some point during their career. Us. In the 8 preceding rounds, Whitaker appears to have won at least 7 of them, perhaps even pitching a shutout to this point.
John Montes is still searching for his rhythm. He just has not been able to get into this fight. You have to give Whitaker some credit for that, but I think it's also just Montes came up empty.
Whitaker chopping away with the left hand against Montes, who now is standing still more frequently than in the 3 preceding rounds.
That's what I thought Montes would do a lot more of, Jim. Trying to bull Whitaker, try to throw him out of his rhythm. Hasn't sustained it at all. There's Whitaker with his right hand down by his knee. And John Montes, who has a good left hook, hasn't been able to hit him with it. Really hasn't thrown it.
Break it off, that's it.
The Whitaker corner will not be at all disappointed if their man has to go 10 full rounds here. There are some things to learn about Sweet Pea, and they thought that it would be a good experience for him to have a tough fight at this stage.
Come on now, let's fire it slow. Let's go. Keep him up.
When we saw Mike Tyson a few weeks ago, we spoke about the 2 questions that are asked about all amateur fighters coming into the pros: their stamina, their ability to go 10, 12, and 15 rounds, and their chins. Whitaker seems able to go the 10 rounds here quite easily. Unfortunately, for the excitement that does not exist in this fight, he hasn't had his chin tested, which we thought he might.
10 seconds to go in round 9. We will be staying here between rounds. Whitaker continues to score. Easily leads the fight versus Montes. He will return on March 23rd on ABC's Budweiser Professional Boxing Series with an exciting heavyweight contest between undefeated Terrell Biggs and veteran Jeff Sims in 2 weeks live from Reno, Nevada at 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central and Pacific here on ABC Sports. Right now, let's go to the corner of Pernell Whitaker.
All right. Half round coming up. We'll touch gloves.
Listen, don't be careful with this guy because this guy's a desperate, right? I want to see you jab him to death this round, right?
Hey, look,
all right, let's go.
Don't go to trading with him.
All right. Last round. That's all. You don't want to fight.
You don't want to fight. You're there, you jab, boom, boom, boom. Right? Okay, let me see that. Let's see that jab. All right, uppercut. Get right close on it, okay? Come on, we got the fight now. Let's go. All right, let's win the fight. Let's win the fight.
Now, come over here. Touch gloves now and back off.
The primary voice you heard there was that of manager Lou
Touch gloves and back off. All right.
And you heard him telling Pernell Whitaker, you're going to win the fight. Don't make mistakes.
They know, like everybody else in this arena knows, including John Montes, that Montes has to score a knockout to win. Again, at the opening of this round, we heard that wonderful cheer that Sweet Pea Whitaker gets when he fights in his hometown area. Sweet Pea, Sweet Pea, Sweet Pea.
Two and a half minutes to go in the fight. Montes attempting to respond to the situation.
Notice one thing, Jim. Sweet Pea Whitaker, he just feinted with his left hand. He is not throwing his left hand, just did there, as frequently as we're used to seeing him.
Watch your shoulder, please. Watch your shoulder. Watch your shoulder.
Not putting it together in combination as effectively or as much as we're used to.
Don't hold him.
You see him there holding back with it? He may have injured it at some point in this fight.
He did throw it quite liberally in the first 2 rounds and scored heavily with it. Since that time, he has been a less busy fighter. We'll get a chance to talk to Pernell immediately following the announcement of the decision here. Family affair for Pernell Whitaker here just across the James River from his hometown of Norfolk. There is Pernell's mother, Novella Whitaker, as she watches from ringside.
She was at every one of Pernell's fights at the Sports Arena in Los Angeles and was the most vociferous fan in the arena. Again, no left hands at all from Pernell.
Watch your head.
1 minute to go in the fight.
Watch your head. Watch your head.
Montes has shown no indication that he is ready to load up on the right hand and try to take this fight away from Pernell Whitaker. There he goes. And that prompts Whitaker to go ahead and release the left.
One factor in John Montes' disappointing performance here, Jim, may be the fact that he has a lot of trouble making the weight these days. He struggled to make the 138. I don't think he'll ever fight as a lightweight again. He may have to be a full 140-pounder, a junior welter.
Montes paused in the middle of that flurry to mock Whitaker for a moment, and Whitaker responded by nailing a solid left to his right cheek. 15 seconds to go, and Pernell Whitaker will, for the first time in his professional career, have gone 10 full rounds.
Hold it. That's it.
The bell brings the crowd to its feet in support and appreciation for what the local star has done. Pernell Whitaker going 10 full rounds and appearing to easily control his opponent from Los Angeles, John Montes. We'll be back with the decision right after this. We are back now in Hampton, Virginia, and quickly now let's go to ring announcer Ross McCallum for the decision in this bout.
Have a decision. The winner by unanimous decision, Pernell Whitaker.
Scoring by the 3 judges, 100-91, 100-92, 99-90. Under 10-point must system, Pernell Whitaker completely dominating the bout on all 3 cards, and he has his 8th consecutive victory. Now Alex Wallow in the ring with Pernell.
Pete, first, did you hurt your left hand in the fight?
I think my hand is pretty much bad.
I'm going to check.
It looks like it's fractured a little bit. I hurt it in the 4th round, so I couldn't really throw my left hand with any authority. But, I was in tremendous shape, and I was able to box. And going to 10 rounds is really what I needed to do. So now I feel good about myself, and I know I can go 15 or 12 rounds.
What is this hand? I guess you really don't know until you test the hand what it's going to do to your timetable.
Well, everything, if there's no break there, we're ready to fight. Pete's in tremendous condition. He went 10 tough rounds with a good fighter out there. I mean, I'm proud of Pete, what he did today. He couldn't open up the way he could. He didn't want to take no chances at that stand. We told him to box, win the decision. Don't worry about the knockout.
Lou, let me just talk to John Montes, the loser here. John, what do you think of Pernell Whitaker? How do you rate him?
I rate him. He's ready for the top 10. He's a good boxer, hard to hit. But, I see as he goes on, he'll get more experience, and I know he wants Camacho, so good luck to him, okay?
Thank you, John. Thank you. Good luck.
My wife.
Thank you. Pete, you're in considerable pain even now with the hand.
I feel pretty bad now. It's sore, and I want to get back and get it treated. And I hope it's not broke. But I hurt my hand around in the 4th round, and I told the corner, but I know I felt tremendous. I was in good shape, and I was able to use my right hand and use my movement.
See, Thanks very much. He wanted to open up with Alex. We told him, go out there, win the decision. He can always knock anybody out.
Thanks, Lou.
Not worried about knockout.
Good luck down the road. Hope it isn't broken. Now to Jim Lampley at ringside.
Yeah.
All right, so now with all fight fans, we'll follow the progress of Pernell Whitaker and his perhaps injured hand.
Rodriguez of Panama. And now let's go back to the videotape of the fight and ring announcer Michael Buffer. We're at the Will Rogers Coliseum in Fort Worth, Texas, with our somewhat delayed version